Welcome to Thirsty on Toon, where we drink wine and read webtoons.
Hi, I'm your co-host Bronwyn, your webtoon obsessive, dopamine addicted, idiots in love, and slow burn sommelier.
And I'm your co-host Chris, webtoons acolyte, enemies to lovers lover, and bantercore aficionado.
So pull up a page, pour yourself a drink, and let's dive in.
You're thirsty on Maine, we're thirsty on Toon. Thirsty on Toon, thirsty on, thirsty on Toon. Hello.
Hi, are you ready to talk about some nerd boys?
I am always ready to talk about nerd boys.
Right.
Are they gay?
I think they're a little bit gay.
They're a
Yeah,
little
obviously.
bit.
Yeah, a little bit
Do you
gay.
think they might be a little?
Just a hint gay.
Just a hint of gay.
I mean, but who isn't? But
Right? Surprise if you're learning that for the first time.
welcome to the spectrum, folks.
Last time we made everyone pumpkin sexuals, and this time we're here to inform you we're always gay.
Always
Anyway, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about the webtoon Zocker.
Sucker!
And from the blurb, we have Zocker and Flix. They don't know each other's names, even though they have played online games almost every night for 2 years now. When an opportunity to meet suddenly arises, Flix is left with the question if someone he never met can be a friend in real life. Zocker is a German slang word for gamers. Enjoy reading.
Yes. I definitely assumed this had something to do with soccer for some reason. And I was surprised.
Not that kind of game.
Not that kind of game. I very much misunderstood when I started reading what this was.
Yeah, no, in terms of genre, like they have it down as romance, but for me, what this really is gamer boys online dating without knowing that that's what they're doing.
Yes, I would add it is a slow burn, idiots in love.
Yes. Yes. See, you're so good at that. You're very specific.
It's almost as if I write fan fiction on AO3.
Almost.
I have been tagging shit since the beginning of time. Anyway.
Nailed it. Who's your favorite character?
Well, in the grand tradition of this show, as I think we might slowly begin to realize, we write down every character that is in it. Maybe one day there will come a day we read something where we dislike a character.
Will we though?
I don't know what it would be.
Hasn't happened yet.
That's not happened yet. This one for me, I feel has a more solid favorite in my brain. Like Felix is just my son. Like he is my child.
Oh my God, I love him.
I love him so much. So Felix or Flix, because he's so creative.
Oh my God. How much am I getting Buttercup from Princess Bride vibes right here? She named her horse Horse. She was not long on imagination.
I know there's even a moment when Toby or Zocker realizes Felix just named himself Flix and is like, wow, what happened to the E?
Oh, can we talk about little emo Toby though? How cute that kid is. I just want to pinch his cheeks. Oh my God, I love him.
Oh, he is this like angry nerd goth child.
Yes.
He has Damian Wayne energy.
So much Damian Wayne energy. Oh my God.
I was like, if he had been raised by assassins, this would be a different story, but it'd be the same child.
He is legit a murder baby waiting to happen.
He is Damian Wayne if Damian Wayne played video games instead of learning the art of the blade.
Oh my God, I can't even with how true that is.
It's just, he thinks he is better than everyone. Like he is just yelling and angry all the time, but inside is this ball of softness. Like there is no actual armor. It is all bravado. And I don't care if people in the comments might say that is Damian Wayne too. I'm sorry.
100%.
That child is soft. Just look at him like a puppy.
1,000%. He needs to be the patriarch Because he can't let anybody see.
Yes. But hand that child an animal and tell me he is not the softest of boys.
Right. He is the soft boy. He needs a soft birthday party like this.
Yes.
Oh my God. No. So it's true. I mean, obviously Flix, you know, you can't not love him. But I mean, you know, there's Zocker, obviously. And then, oh my God, let's talk about Nina and Timo. Oh
Nina
my
and
God.
Timo are the greatest friends. I love them so much. Yes.
I just can't with them. They're so cute. Nina and her freckles and Timo and his bandages. And oh my God, like, why does Timo always have bandages all over his face?
I know. I feel like, is he a skateboarder? It feels like it's something like that.
Right.
Like he 100% does a sport where he ends up on the pavement a lot.
Like, I feel attacked with that because that's basically me, especially at that age.
I don't know. I've seen the ball hockey bruises currently. What do you mean at that age?
Okay. All right. Okay. I feel currently attacked. Oh dear. Yep. No, that's a fair point.
Yep.
Okay, so I might relate a little harder with Timo.
Timo's a sweetie. I also love his little like hipster outfits all the time. He's so cute.
All of the clothes in this whole thing, I love them all. I want to wear all of these outfits.
Yes. I know we're 3 episodes into the show, but listeners will start to recognize that we love every character and we will always talk about the outfits.
Yes.
You best believe.
Hard, deep truth. And why did that sound so sexual? Okay.
It is hard and it is deep.
Oh no. Look what you've done to me.
Can't be helped.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Yep.
Oh, but it's so true. I love all of the outfits. I love just everything that I like their little avatars too. They're so cute.
Their avatar design is my favorite thing. It's so good. I love Zockel's like pirate chic thing.
Right?
Going on with the eye patch and the like flowy layers, but
and he kind of reminds me. Yes, he kind of reminds me of like a fashionable Nightcrawler.
But I oppose the idea that Nightcrawler isn't fashionable.
I mean, that's fair.
Okay, a modern fashionable Nightcrawler.
There we go.
Kurt Wagner would not stand for this kind of slander.
No, fair. I would not ever
his best
slander
friend
Kurt.
Is Wolverine. You want him to come for you?
Yeah, no, that's fair. And okay, just as an FYI, when I was 6, Wolverine was my husband. He's Canadian and not very tall. And you know,
I'm
so
pretty sure he is gay for Cyclops and Nightcrawler though. So
I mean, I was just absolutely heartbroken for years, like literally years, when I found out he wasn't actually a real person and I couldn't actually marry him. So the fact that he's gay just adds to that.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of betrayal that's happened.
Yeah. Issues.
You betrayed me.
So yeah, I'll never get over my first X-Men.
Oh, nobody ever recovers from their first X-Men. Mine was Gambit, which is why it's a good thing that I don't actually want to date, I think.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Does not bode well for who I would have picked in life.
I mean, if it's any consolation, Gambit was the Gambit Rogue thing was definitely my rebound relationship.
Now, few things have ever been hotter than Gambit and Rogue. Right. I don't understand it. He is a horrible person who I love to this day.
I know.
Like, I've never been able to let go of my deep love for this bad man.
He's a terrible, terrible person.
Yes, he is.
Oh my God. How did we even get here? I'm so sorry.
So far in this episode about Zocker, we have talked about Batman and X-Men the most.
Amazing. Okay. Favorite ship?
Rogue and Gambit.
Obviously.
But if you mean this comic, it's Zocker and Flix. Like, come on.
I mean, obviously. I want that so bad. I need it in my life.
They're so messy in the cutest way.
Right.
Their relationship is a disaster that I subscribe to.
Literally.
Like, I don't even know. I was reading it and I was going, this shouldn't work. It really should not work.
At all. And yet.
But it does.
And I need it.
I think their relationship, like they were friends for years, but their relationship starts with Felix literally stalking him, and then them just insulting each other when they do meet. And I think the moment where I was like, oh, this can work, was when I realized that Zocker was just as bad. Like, he was equally bad.
But like, I mean, the fact that Flix decided to stalk him indicates to me that they had been online dating without knowing for quite some time.
I think so.
He ended up being dumped by his girlfriend because he wasn't spending enough time with her because he was going home to play video games with Zocker online. Like,
his friends, the very first thing we see of his friends is them going, you have a date tonight, right? Like, they think he is dating somebody.
Yeah.
And he's like, they don't know I'm really with Zocker. And I'm like, they would still think that if they do,
definitely do, buddy.
I hate to break it to you. They know. You don't know, but they know, though.
I'm not gonna lie, though, in terms of shipping, I definitely have a ship for Timo as well, though, with that man bun guy at the party.
Oh my God. What is his name?
I cannot even remember. Like,
I don't know.
Johannes or something like that.
Yes,
you know?
He's kind of douchey, but I feel like I will love him anyway. Like,
right?
We don't know much about him except that when he meets Zocker, Zocker's like, is this what you're friends with? And do I have to be? Like, I don't like.
I think that's equal parts like Zocker and his social anxiety.
Yes, I agree. Though I was a little bit on his side when we first met that guy.
And I mean, fair. But
also, I think that Timo is a little pretentious too. So I feel like it might work.
Right? And I definitely want to see like Timo bring that guy right down to his level.
Oh, 100%. Yes. And we need somebody for Nina, but I feel like there really isn't a lot of potential yet.
I kind of get Ace vibes from Nina.
Ooh, I would be down for that. Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. She does have that energy now that you pointed that out. And I was trying to decide if that's because she has that energy or because there's literally no one else in this story. I mean, exhausted the characters at that point, but maybe she is. That would be really cool.
Because I mean, realistically, like I could ship her with Timo.
Yeah, but I don't either. I agree.
But I don't at all.
Really strong friend energy.
Like deep friend energy, Like,
yeah, they do. Oh, I like it. All right. That's our prediction. Nina is Ace.
That's her. That's what I get from her so far. So,
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But this is different than the other comics we talked about in that there isn't a whole lot of characters in it. Like they're just the ones we've talked about. There's nobody else.
No, I mean I guess
there's a mom. There's a mom floating around.
And there's Zocker's brother who,
Oh, yes.
I like him. He's cool.
Yes.
He was neat. And like there are some like party goers, tertiary friends and stuff like that, but we don't get any development on them. So we spend so much time with Zocker and Flix, right? So
and partially, I mean, that makes sense. If we use that to transition into our themes, it does make sense because they've created a whole world that is each other in a way that is both cute and I feel like also going to be part of the problem.
Yeah. It definitely borders on toxic, like not toxic in like an evil way, but toxic in a codependent way.
Right. There is at some point we'll talk about Heartstopper, but there's this really interesting through line in Heartstopper of making the person you love your whole world and then having to unbuild that.
Yeah.
It's like take it apart and like actually create a world around yourself again, because it's not good to have that. And the longer the story goes on and the closer the two of them get, the more they are just each other's worlds. And then Nina and Timo are always there trying to be part of it, but they're not totally let in. I think they're going to have to let some people into their world at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard because at the age that these characters are at, everything is so intense that it's very difficult to kind of understand that you need to let other things in and that you can't be all things to one person or, like,
oh yes.
I mean, it's hard enough to do that as an adult.
Right. At 15, I was Felix. Like this character is who I was as a teenager because I absolutely had like one friend and I would latch onto that person until that relationship broke. And then I found a new one. Like, I mean, that sounds cool, but that is the like teenage calculus, right?
Yeah.
Like, that person, but in my head, it wasn't a temporary just latch on. It was like, we will grow old together.
Exactly.
This other 15-year-old and I,
100%. Because you don't have any kind of baseline for comparison.
No.
Like
No.
this is the most important relationship in your life for you from your personal perspective, right?
Yes.
Like that.
Teenage friendships can be so intense. Like when I look back at them now as an adult with healthy friendships in my life, I'm like, wow, how did I ever exist in that way? Like,
right?
It was hard for me to go a couple minutes without knowing what that other person was doing. Like, what?
Yeah.
It sounds so suffocating, but we
I
were
know.
both like so invested in it at the time, you know?
God, I look back at like notes, you know, like we would send notes back and forth. They were like letters, and we would send multiple a day, like handwritten letters. Like,
yes, no romance novel is as intense as female friendship in the teen years.
Oh my God. That is so true. It is unbelievable. It is just,
it is
mind-blowing.
Uncomfortable to remember.
It is like deeply uncomfortable to remember.
Yes.
But you know what? It's funny because I'm actually still friends with some of those people. Like,
that's awesome.
The friendship has definitely changed.
Yeah, that's also awesome. I, however, managed to tank all of those. You know, a lot of therapy has come since then. It's okay.
Oh no! Oh yes! Oh yes! So much therapy.
If you ever hear this, I'm so sorry. God.
Yeah, ditto.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, that's part of growth, right?
It is. It is.
So, and it's neat to watch that, and it's neat to see this in a comic form. It's really interesting to see it, and honestly, it's neat to see it in male characters.
I agree. Yeah.
Obviously, that's different from my personal perspective, but it's really interesting to see this portrayed that way. So yeah, I'm really invested in this.
It is really powerful. I think less so now because I think online friendship has become so normalized and online relationships have become so normalized. So obviously they start friends and now they're moving toward maybe more. They're not quite at more yet, but they're at, we're going toward more. But I think that is more normalized now. But certainly like when I was a teenager, not so long ago, it was like, those are not your real friends. Your real friends are your in-person friends. But for me, I was like, no, these are my people. Like, you know,
exactly.
But yeah, having online friends was way less normal. Now, I mean, we're online friends, technically, a thing I don't usually remember because it feels like we just kind of know each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, I mean, part of that is technological advancement, you know, allowing for a lot more sort of mimicry of in-person communication, right? Like video chat, like we're doing.
Yes, that's true. I also think it's more normal to actually know the person on the other side of the screen now in a way that was like really scary. Like you had to know them for years before, which is in the story too. Like you know them for years before you say your real name. Now my Twitter has my real name on it. Like just,
exactly.
You know, we just do that now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting shift, right? Like that's it. It speaks to a change in society, but it also like, and I mean, for better or for worse, and for both really, but it's cool that you can meet people who are your people in a way that's not restricted to your physical location, right? Especially for somebody like, and I feel this way because I grew up in a really rural, very kind of isolated area, much like the character Zocker here is in a rural, more isolated area. You don't have access to people who necessarily share your interests.
Yeah, absolutely.
So online relationships can become very, very intense and very, very important because these are people who actually speak your language, you know, who understand your truths, who are part of your community in a way that the people who are part of your physical community really can't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I also grew up near a city that was somehow in a rural area anyway, because in the part of the country I grew up, it was both. I had cows and city, like on one side and the other. But it was still like hard to find people that were my people. Like the people, my neighbors, people that lived around me were very conservative. They were nothing like me, right? So I had to go online to find my community. And I've always been very passionate about that because I feel like people will get on a soapbox and be like, social media is killing us. And I'm like, well, that's how you're using it then.
Yeah.
Because it's a tool. Like,
exactly.
If it's killing you, you're doing something wrong. Like maybe you should, I don't know, maybe get a little bit more in healthy communities then because
modify your behavior with your tool.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be, especially I think for like queer youth, it can be such a lifesaver to have an online space where you can be your full self. And I think it's fun in this story, the way that, Zocker is his full self when he is not being himself.
Yeah.
He's able to step out of himself and become the Zocker character, who is just him. I mean, it's just him.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the light is shown on that when Nina and Timo get to see Zocker be Zocker in real life for the first time. Because they've always seen him as shy and quiet and reserved. And he gets in a fight with Felix.
Yeah.
Yes, they've seen Toby. They hadn't seen Zocker. And then he gets in a fight with Felix, and all of a sudden Zocker comes out. And they're like, whoa.
Who is that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really, really interesting. And the fact that we really get to so completely see that transition in this. And I just, I mean, I guess this sort of bridges themes and into story specific comments, but I love the boys. I love the boys so much, obviously. Yes. I love their avatars. I love how they interact. And I love how much that interaction very clearly means to both of them and how they demonstrate that differently.
Yeah.
Like for Zocker, like him coming out of his comfort zone, him leaving his space is difficult. And which is not something he's even communicated specifically to Flix. Yeah. Like you get that internal monologue when you see the perspective shift.
Oh, so just so powerful.
Which was really cool, right? I love that when you get to see the story from his perspective after having seen it from Felix's perspective. And you see how like even getting on the train and going from his area to Hamburg where Felix lives, it was difficult for him. And so for him to do that again and without planning and without knowing what his reception was going to be, just because he was worried about Felix. Yeah. That's a big indication about how important this person is to him and how important this relationship is to him.
I definitely awed out loud when he showed up.
Right.
Because I wasn't sure at first, like, was he coming for conflict? Like, was he coming to argue or what? But then he's just there until Felix starts arguing with him. And he's like, there he is. That's my Felix. That's who I was looking for. And I was like,
I died.
It's so sweet.
That end of that panel, like, oh my God. So you remember when I messaged you and I said, this broke me?
Yes.
That is what broke me.
It's perfect. It is genuinely, I wrote the parentheses cries.
Yep. Yep.
It's because so true.
The next part of that is Felix responding with that face, that look on his face where he's finally realizing that Zocker has made this effort. Like, and so he's like, oh dear God. Okay. I have to make this effort too then. Like I have to step up. I have to put aside the pain that I'm feeling and make this relationship my priority, like this friendship.
Yes.
Because this person is so important to me that it's more important than my feelings.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I love it. I think it's very telling the way they chose their names and what that says about them. So Toby and Zocker are two different people, they are different sides of the same person, but they are different. Whereas Felix and Flix, again, one letter different, they're the same person. Yeah. He is 100% just the soft bubble of a human that he is at all times.
At all times.
And it is literally how Zocker recognizes him the first time they talk, because he's no different than he is online.
Whereas like Flix literally has to sit there and be like, oh, okay, maybe that's him. I don't know. Ooh, is that him? And then he doesn't even fully recognize him until he has a tantrum.
I know. And he's like, there he is. That's him.
So yeah, that was amazing.
Love it. Oh. The scene where he first asked Zocker if they can meet in person, and Zocker just signs off and doesn't come on for a few days. Did you feel the internal terror of that?
Yes. Deeply.
So uncomfortable. That specific online friendship thing where somebody can sign off and they're gone
and you don't know.
You have no other access to them.
They could have died and you don't know. And oh my God.
I've had that happen so many times. And you're just like, well, I will never run into this person because they could live anywhere. Like, it's just over unless they sign back on.
Oh, my heart just jumped out of my chest. I was not okay.
Liz, yes, that took me back. time in the fanfiction.net era of fanfiction writing,
Yes.
the dark times before tags existed and you could just be reading something and have no idea what it was going to involve.
Oh no.
Ooh, dark times. But there was a time when there was like a trend of teenagers on fanfiction.net faking their own deaths.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Did not ever do this, but I was aware of it. It definitely happened. Like a writer would log back on and pretend to be their friend and be like, write an author's note that said like, this person has died. I'm so sorry. I know people cared about the story, but it won't be updated again. And it was really just the person.
But why though?
Teenagers.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Is the reason. That's
yeah,
why.
Yeah.
Sometimes because they, wanting attention, sometimes to get away from drama, just problem solving when you have a unfully formed brain. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, that's enough.
there's a woman on TikTok who does like all these TikToks about fan fiction and fandom. And she was one of the people who did that as a teenager. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I don't know why I did this. I did, but I don't know why. Like,
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Weird, but fair.
Yes. For those of you who were in the dark ages with me, suddenly recounting whether or not the people you thought were dead or were not dead. I hate to break it to you. If they were writing an author's note, I bet you they weren't. Just don't think that's the first priority of their best friend. Just saying.
Oh God, true story. Oh my God. Well, do you have any predictions for what's coming next?
Okay, so I will tell you my completely inaccurate prediction that I haven't let go of, probably out of pride.
Ooh, okay. No, I want to hear this. Is it unhinged? I want it to be unhinged.
It is a little bit unhinged. I think it is telling of the kind of webtoons I've been reading.
Yes. Okay.
So we, at the beginning of the story, we only see Felix. We don't see what Zocker looks like beyond his avatar. I was trying to make all these predictions of why he was being so cagey about it. I was like, okay, like his character is a pirate, he has an eye patch or whatever. My brain was like, something traumatic has happened to this child and he's like lost his eye in a horrible accident and he's like created a pirate persona to deal with it. And then the first time we see an avatar of him, it's during his goth phase and his hair is covering one eye. And I was like, oh, I'm right. And I'm not right. But it turns out this was just drama. But I was like, I don't know. It's symbolic of something. And I haven't let go of my idea that it's symbolic of something. But I no longer have a what.
You don't think he has a glass eye?
Maybe surprise. He has a glass eye.
Oh my God, I love it. That is unhinged. That's amazing.
Thank you. I don't actually think he has a glass eye, but I do feel like the eye patch means something. And this is going to be one of those things where I'm going to hold on to this until it's literally over and nothing comes of it. But I'll still be like, no, I think it meant something. I really was the person watching WandaVision going, that's Mephisto.
Okay. All right. Okay. I like it. I'm here for it.
Thank you. Other than that, I think my prediction would be what we've said already, that their level of connection is going to be the conflict that we have to deal with at some point.
Yeah, I'm in a similar place. Like, obviously, we're going to get some sort of emotional explosion from Felix, a confession, a forced explanation of his distance, something like this, right?
Right.
But at this point in the story, I'm not 100% sure how Zocker's going to react. Like,
no.
I mean, clearly he's already been considering his sexuality.
Right.
He had a response to the, gay magazine that his brother gave to him when he was drunk and was trying to express support in a very weird way, but clearly
well-meaning.
expressing, the conservative nature of the place and family and whatever that they grew up in.
Yeah.
But trying to be well-meaning, trying to be supportive. So points for effort.
Yeah, you tried. Gold star, you tried.
Real hard, he tried.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe a little room for work on the execution, but he tried real hard. So okay. and like there was definitely a response there, but there's also some fairly significantly internalized homophobia.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I worry, like, whereas, you know, Felix is obviously still working out his feelings. He's still trying to figure out where he is, but he doesn't seem to have the barrier of that homophobia. He's just confused, which I mean,
yes. But he thought they were friends for so long, and then he can't get out of the headspace of wanting to kiss him, and it's distracting him from their friendship. But it's messy. It's messy and delightful.
He's not sure, like, does that go beyond kissing, or like, because he can't quite picture going further than that physically with a man, but he cannot get past it. He's trying to distract himself with thoughts of women, which has previously been all he'd thought about, and no, that's not working. And so he's just working through it, but not in a hateful way.
Yes. I wonder if Zocker isn't demisexual, because when he actually gets the magazine, like, he has a feeling about it, but he is like, it's not the thing that he understands other people to feel. Exactly. And he knows he's never felt that toward women. So my question is it internalization, which it is? I mean, is it only that, or is he also somewhere on the ace spectrum, and so he isn't feeling the same things?
Yeah. Which I think potentially so. And so, like, I think, you know, like, he's working his way towards understanding his feelings for Flix, but it may be specifically for Flix as opposed to for men or women or anyone in general, or, you know.
Exactly, because he's had this years long emotional bond already.
Exactly. Which, I mean, like, that you know, I feel that makes sense. So, like, they clearly have chemistry, you know, but I do feel like Toby's struggling more than Felix is on this one. So I don't know exactly how that response is going to go yet, you know. And I think I wonder if we'll get a little bit more of this, you know, like we did we had the whole up to the party scene from Felix, and then we went back in time and saw, like, up to that point from Toby's perspective. And that was really helpful for understanding where he was coming from. So I'm wondering if we'll get this.
Oh, I hope so.
I do too. I really hope so.
Yes.
I think that would be really helpful in making predictions and things like that, but also in understanding how his reaction will be.
Yeah, I especially want to see how it was for him when Felix pulled back. Like, what was he reading into that interaction?
And how was he feeling about it?
Yeah.
I'm not, especially because he's definitely the one who would experience some blowback for accepting and coming out with queer identity, right? So, like, and not to say that his family specifically won't be supportive, because clearly his brother is trying to be already, and he hasn't even come out. So exactly. You know, and his mom seems like a lovely person in the small amount of information we have about her. She doesn't seem like a non-supportive character. We haven't met a dad, so I don't know.
Have we met either dad? No,
I don't think so. I don't think we've met any
dads. Met moms.
Yeah, we've met moms, but
zero dads in the story.
We definitely have been told, though, that it is a conservative area
of
Germany.
Germany. Right.
So I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see the sort of culmination of this kind of emotional plot point.
And what the eye patch will mean.
Yes. Maybe the eye patch means that he's on the spectrum. Maybe that's what it is. It's the demisexual.
Maybe. He sees the world differently. We did it.
There we are.
Good job, team. If this eye patch means something, we're doing a whole second episode about this. Just
oh my God, yes. 1,000%.
We're coming back and we're talking about the eye patch. Oh God.
Oh my God, that's gonna be awesome. We're definitely doing that.
It's not gonna happen, don't worry.
We're coming back to talk about the eye patch when Zocker is done. We are.
Yes.
We're definitely doing that.
Regardless if nothing happens, we'll come back and we'll decide what it meant.
Yep. So the art style for this is definitely different from anything that we've looked at so far. What do you think?
I love it. It has a more traditional manga style to it, I think, but different than that too. So I don't know. It's like a little Gundam Wing kind of, especially in the video games. Though it gets a little Dungeons and Dragons at times as well. Depends on what game they're playing.
Yeah, for sure. Which I love. I love that the style changes depending on the game that they're playing.
I do too. I love the gameplay scenes, especially, and I love the way that their voice chats or their messaging is personified in their avatars. There's always these like very surrealist kind of their avatars hanging in space talking to each other, and it's so
I love that.
beautiful.
I know. I want that. I want an avatar like that.
Why don't we have that? Why can't our avatars? Can we do that? Can we make that happen? Just have avatars that chill in space together.
Yes, please. Let's do that. It's so cool.
Why did anyone ever create Second Life? I just want an amorphous blob of space.
Right? Come on. Bring me that GUI. I need it.
Yes, make it happen. Somebody's going to tell us it already exists, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, I agree. And I like their real world art too. It's much more like grounded, but very lovely.
Yes. And it's so funny because I'm typically not as drawn to black and white as I am to color, which I think is probably pretty obvious from my personality. But
did you sometimes forget that it was black and white?
Yes. It's so compelling. There's something so compelling. The facial expressions are so evocative. Like
I feel like I knew what color everything was going to be. Like I just feel like I don't know how it conveyed it, but I always was just like, I know what color their outfits are. Like
you can see sunsets. You can see it's bonkers. I don't know. It's very, very evocative for something that is comparatively potentially simplistic to some of the art styles that we've looked at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, if we compare it to like Third Shift Society last week, like it feels a lot unfinished. Seems like that. I mean, it's unintentional, but there is like an unfinished quality to it that is intentional.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it works. It really works for this style and for this story specifically, I think. I
agree.
It kind of reminds me, just a hint, like not specifically in the look, but just in the way it is evocative of Terry Moore.
Oh, yes.
You know, like I just that like Rachel Rising kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I love it. I love it. It's got heavier lines for sure.
Yes.
But there's the way the faces move, the way there's a lot of movement.
Yes.
There's a lot of movement in this.
There is. It's so expressive. You have an idea what they're thinking at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like there's one scene in particular I can think of for movement is when Timo is saying that Felix and Nina look similarly, and if Felix had the freckles that Nina has, that they would be like twins, and the both of them looking like and then they yell at each other for both looking horrified by this.
Disgusted. Yes, absolutely.
There's so much life in that panel. Like there's so much. It's just yeah, I
agree. I also kind of like that, like. So there is this kind of trope idea of a ship called the Sunshine Boy and the Goth Boy trope. Mm-hmm. We see that in everything like Wiccan and Hulkling, or even like in Schitt's Creek, that's David and Patrick, right? Yep. Sunshine Boy, Goth Boy. And there's definitely that here. And even their word bubbles are, Zockel's word bubbles are in black and Felix's word bubbles are in white. And it's just, I don't know, there's something very characterized about everything they do and say.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But like it works, and and especially because like, yes, they're definitely have that dynamic, that sunshine goth, but also like they're both angry. They both call each other noob. They both have this angst. They both like, so it's not like so, I don't even know what the word is exactly, but the sunshine is not a total naive waif boy, and the goth is not a total like angry over the top, like there's,
no, he's precious.
He's so precious. Oh my God.
I love them so much.
And I love that you get that precious right from the beginning, especially when you get that first emo pic that Felix finds and he's just like, oh my God, is this you? Oh, I'm gonna die. You're so cute. What the hell? Like,
that energy of you've given me one detail about your life and I'm about to find out everything because I have Google. I was like, yeah, oh God, me.
Oh, sucker.
Look, whoever among us is not cyber stalked can throw the first stone.
Right. Everybody has done that at least once. Let's be fair.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
We see you. We see you.
Do you have a favorite quotes?
I do. It's that panel that broke me. And it's Felix saying, I can do this. I have to do this.
Oh, baby.
I read that and I immediately snapped you because I was just like,
yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Oh my God. Yes. Mine actually comes a little earlier than that. It's the first time they meet in person and they're hanging out. Not I guess not the time they meet in person, but the time that he comes to visit and they're hanging out, and they have not spent time together in person. It's the first time, but Felix reflects that somehow this feels nostalgic. I just, I get that though. Like, when you've been friends with someone online for so long and you get to be in person with them and it doesn't ever feel like it's the first time, regardless.
Right? No, it's true.
One day you and I will meet and it will feel nostalgic. Like,
it's 1,000% true. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'll cry then too.
Yep. I do love that feeling. Oh my God.
Our babies.
I know.
I love them so much.
Oh my God. And like, it's not like a favorite quote, but it sort of is. That when Zocker comes to see him when he's been worried, and Flix is like, okay, I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna put him out of my mind and I'm gonna focus on this. And he's so focused on putting Zocker out of his mind that he does not notice that the man himself is standing right there saying hello.
It's so good.
And he says hi like 4 times before Felix is like, what?
No. He's like, oh no. Oh, I love it so much.
Oh my God. So good.
Yes,
our
so
poor
good.
little boys.
They're so precious. We love them. Yep.
I can't.
I know.
Oh God. So what do you think we're going to read next? Chris, do you have anything for us?
Oh, yes. Why, yes, I do. We are going to squee and swoon some more.
Yay.
But get a little spooked in the process.
Ooh.
Because we are reading Ghostlights next.
Yes. Oh, yes, we are.
I am obsessed. I think I sent you a snap after reading 5 episodes of it and went, I'm going to be obsessed with this. And I was right.
Yes. And then I thought, okay, well, Chris and I share a brain, so I better read it. And then immediately became obsessed myself.
Yes. Yes. Now, did I intend that both of my choices for the first 2 were going to be about ghosts? No, but here we are. I swear, listeners, all of my choices will not be ghosts.
Famous last words for $1,000.
Well, okay, maybe more than a few of them will be paranormal, though. Look, I spend all my free time reading Shadowhunters. It is where my brain lives.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I will definitely just have to switch it up or something with like a Korean makeup drama.
Yes. Yes. When we were planning out our schedule, when we sat down and came up with ideas, I was like, no, I'm going to be really conscious about doing different genres every time. And I lied.
Yep. Like a rug.
And that was a lie.
It's all good. We have a few. We may or may not subscribe to like, I don't know, hundreds of Web Toon between the 2 of us. So
So what is your subscribing to Web Toon's method? Because I've been told mine is unhinged.
I'm going to go with yes. My method is yes.
Yes. My method is the subscribe button is the same as a bookmark. And I just put anything I want to even think about for more than 5 seconds in there. And thus my subscribe is unmanageable. Yes.
Well, and like I read obsessively to the point of I probably have a problem that should be addressed at some point, but it's not going to be.
Not when we can podcast about it.
Right. This is addressing the problem. This is me addressing the problem. Yes. So I subscribe to things because they were recommended to me, because I was just searching my for yous, because I was reading something and they said, if you like that, you might like this, because an author recommended something at the bottom of their Web Toon. Mm-hmm. But then I immediately go and I binge read. So like I have probably 8 to 10 pages worth of subscriptions on my Web Toon, and I have probably read through like the entirety of the backlog of 95% of that.
See, I have the same amount, but I've only probably read through the backlog of 30% of that. I have focus problems, as Bronwyn knows. I will start reading something and then jump to reading something else. So I probably read the first issue of most things I'm subscribed to, and yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, I might have focus problems periodically, but my OCD doesn't allow me to jump that much. So yeah, I'm like, I will read it till it's done.
Meanwhile, my OCD is like, what if you miss something? You've got to read all of them.
And this is why between us, we have hundreds of subscriptions.
Yes. We arrived at the same place from the same diagnosis via different paths.
Brains are fun.
They're fun, y'all.
Oh God. Well, yes. I am looking forward to Ghostlights for next time. That is exciting.
It's spooky and also one of the most romantic ones we talk about, honestly.
Honestly, so romantic.
So romantic. And scary.
And scary.
Genuinely scary.
Oh, spook. The spook is real.
Yes.
I love it though. It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And I can't wait to talk about it.
Ooh. And where can our listeners find you, Bronwyn?
You can find me on all the things at Shiny Baby Bee. I mostly live on Twitter, where I usually am tweeting about what I'm reading, because I'm always reading.
And you can find me on Twitter at The Myth of Psyche, where I tweet about feminism, psychology, and also what I am reading.
And you can find me also on Gotham Outsiders, a podcast talking about queerness and feminism in the Bat family with my co-host, TJ.
And you should also be checking out our parent podcast at Talking Comics on Twitter, or you can email them at podcast@talkingcomicbooks.com.
And if you want to uncork more web comics goodness from our show, you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Thirsty on Toon,
where we should be reading, drinking, and being nerdy.